How's it going, everyone? This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur, and welcome back to another video of Let's Play Mortal Online 2 Beta. And I'm just absolutely astounded by the number of players that I'm seeing the moment I go into enter Nave. So I've exited Haven, and now I'm officially on the mainland, and I chose Fabernum. This is hilarious. You know, if there was ever a crowded bank in Tindrum, well, this one takes the cake. You can't even get in. Who's clapping? Oh, this is brilliant. This is the welcome. This is the welcome that I sort of hoped to be greeted by all these players, and so I'm making this video today because I want to. Oh man! All right, so I'm making this video today because I want to create a guide video, and because I have had some people suggest to me to make a guide video, and the frame rates are terrible. Hoping I'm not going to get logged out. But I'm making this guide video because there's a lot of things about this new game that I'm very passionate about, and so now there are. Okay, so there's mounts now, so just got to watch out. Alright, so okay, so this is for real now. This is, we're not in Haven anymore, so got to employ every thing that I've learnt in the first game to survive. Alright, so I'm going to make my way to Tindrum today, and while I'm on my way there, I'm going to talk about something that I feel is very dear to me with respect to this game, and that is... Okay, coast is clear, I think. And that is the... this huge world, and you as the new player. So, I've thought about what I should make for my first video in terms of what to cover, and so now I've seen a lot of players in the community who have already made their guides on Alright, there's a player there. Okay, I need to get across that bridge, so I'm gonna have to sneak my way around. So I've seen a lot of players covering different aspects of how to play the game, the different attributes and skills, and all the different character systems and things like that. Now, I have also seen people viewing my old Mortal Online 1 guide videos, and so now with those videos, I think they can still be somewhat helpful because a lot of the systems that were in Mortal Online 1 do carry over. So there are a lot of things that you may find to be either identical or very familiar to in Mortal Online 2 compared to Mortal Online 1. So I have made videos covering the attributes, skills, and situational awareness, and lots of different other things. So if you're interested, if you want to check them out, then I have a link in the description below that will take you to those videos. And so I feel that with all the people covering the attributes and skills and all the different character aspects in Mortal Online 2, I feel that I feel that there is enough of those videos that are being made, and So if I am going to make those videos, then I may make them at some point. But for today, I just want to cover the topic of this huge world, the world of Nave, the mainland, and you. Okay, so as you know, this game world is, I think it's 6 times larger than the world of Mortal Online 1, and so that means with such a big world, everything is going to be different. The way you play this game and the way you view yourself in this world is going to be very different. And so with there's a player. You gotta have eagle eyes when you're playing this game. And the number one tip that I can offer you guys when you're traveling is spot them before they spot you. And do everything you can to camouflage yourself. Whether that be through evasion or using shadows and cover to cover your, to make yourself less visible. Okay, so with the world so big, you do need to, the question that you would be asking yourself is not so much, where can I go in this game, in this, where are all the towns, but rather, where do I want to live? Because this is no longer the world of Mortal Online 1 where everything is relatively near. In Mortal Online 1, you could. There's a player there as well. Be a spotter. Actually, I might make my way through the mountains. So the question you really need to be asking yourself is, where do I want to live? Because in this world, traveling is going to take a lot of time, especially if you're on foot. And I remember, when I made my way from Meduli to Moronko as a ghost, it took me roughly an hour. And you've probably seen how fast a ghost moves, and even that took me an hour. So you can get an idea of there's players everywhere. I may or may not even be able to travel to Syndrome. We'll see. If I can't get there without dying, then I'll just do the video in town. What is this? Young bush pig? Okay. Alright, so the frame rate's terrible. And I don't know why. I don't know why it's so slow, why the frame rates are so low, but maybe it's due to all the players, all the activity that's going on. I mean, you saw how it was in town. Even the the Favorite Bank is just blocked off, and so yeah. Right, so I think so far, this is. And look at all the floating grass. That's where you need to fix this. Alright, so with such a big world, the way you play this game is not going to be so much, how. Alright, so yeah, I may or may not make it to Tindrum alive, but we'll try our best. Okay, so I've talked about this in a number of forum posts, and so when you have a big world like this, you start to think about where you belong, and so when you decide that you're gonna live in a particular town, in this case for me, Faberham, then you start to see yourself as a local citizen. This is you no longer see yourself as a global citizen in this game, but rather as a local citizen. And so the way you all your activities is going to be more or less based around the town that you have decided to, live in. And if I can get onto this, yes. And so that means that you will start to get to know the players that also live in the same town as you. And so eventually, you start to form communities in the surrounding area, and players who are not, that you don't recognize, you start to not recognize players that you don't see very often in the town that you live in, and you start to and so I foresee that in future, when this game has had maybe 1 or 2 years, when players have settled into the town that they live in, you will start to recognize players that live in the same town as you, and you will start to you will instantly recognize someone that doesn't belong, that has not lived in the same town as you. You'll recognize them instantly, and that might create a lot of meta gameplay, deeper gameplay, such as there might be spies or infiltrators from another town that wants to get in and steal resources, or cause trouble, or just get information from a town and bring it back to their hometown. Thinking maybe I'll take the high ground. That might be a lot safer. And look at this. I mean, we've seen this in the first beginning of of this season, and you saw how big the world was, and now that they've fleshed it out a lot more, it's really just become, it's so beautiful, and even on epic settings. And right, so I think I may have to come down, so I don't think I can navigate through there. Maybe I can. Let's give it a try. We'll give it a try. So this is going to be a very long video, but I'm hoping to cover, a number of different things, but it's going to be centered around, the idea of this huge world and you. And because I feel that, this game is so much more than just, how does the attribute system work? How does the skill system work and all that? It is important to understand those things, but for me, I feel that the most important thing for a new player is to understand their relation, their character, and their relation in relation to this world, their character's relation to this world, and so I think that when you live in a town, you will start to see that a lot of players will start to look very homogeneous to one another in terms of the gear that they use. So in Fabledom, for example, there's a lot of easy access to full grain leather and bone tissue and emerge and granum and the surrounding plants, wolfbrush, for example. Okay, let me just get down from here. So as you navigate further out, you encounter less players, and so just now, I think getting out of town is the hardest part. But once you, look at that spring! Look at that! They finally added water to that. Oh, that is so beautiful. I need to. Wow! I think I will just pause and just take it all in. Look at this. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. This is quadruple A stuff. Okay, and so what you will find is that I think a lot of players in the same town as you will start to you will start to see them wearing padded Caladian armor, and you might not you probably won't see too much of people wearing steel plate armor, because in order to make steel you will also need Sapura and Calx. So all those resources will have to be shipped in either by players in the community or from another town. And so that might mean that as a local member of the town, you you might see the communities of the town start to say, oh, we need a local representative. We might need a council, a team of council members, to act as our representatives and to conduct diplomacy with representatives of another town. So you might start to see that happen, as the years go on, in this game. Yeah, this world is definitely looking much better compared to the first time when I traveled through here. Right, so if you just keep heading west, you should eventually arrive at Tindra. And another tip that I want to give to players is choose your path carefully. If you want to, travel on the road, then just be aware that player bandits, players who have decided that they're going to be, play as bandits in this game, they know this. They know that new players and players who who prefer to travel on roads, they will use that. And so what you're going to see is that player bandits are going to camp the roads, and so you might find yourself coming face to face with player bandits, and so that may be a risk to you. And so, but however, if you travel on the roads, there's a less likelihood of you getting lost, and so that is the benefit and the drawback. Now, personally, for me, I prefer to travel off the beaten path. I prefer to travel, in the wild, and so that might mean that I probably won't run into the risk of player bandits that often. However, it does mean that I'm going to have to be more astute when it comes to knowing my way around, and that is what I'm planning to do. So, and traveling off the beaten path also means that it allows you to, take random detours, take different routes every time, so as to not to, get into, give potential player bandits an idea of where you normally traverse, the route that you normally take. So this game is all about, it's very much a game of cat and mouse. A lot of the things that you will, a lot of the player interactions, if it's not civilized one-on-one interactions, with your friends or guildmates or people that you trust, then it will be very much a game of cat and mouse. So you always have to think one step ahead and always try and outsmart and outwit your other players who may be out there to get you. Yeah, so I'm definitely very happy with what I see, and so the stress test seems to be. I think the stress test is still happening, but it is not as. You see, when you see a creature run off, then it could be a sign that there's other players around. So there's all these telltale signs that you've got to use to your advantage. So just now that Springbok was running away, and it wasn't running away from me, it was running away towards the west. So that might mean that there's a player coming down from the hills who may or may not be watching me. So let's make a quick run, try and get ourselves out of out of visible range. And with that, with the huge world, it also means that commodities, the price of commodities is going to be much higher. Even simple resources, plants and granum, stuff that you can mine easily. It's going to be there's going to be a much higher market value for especially in other towns, because if Granum is not readily available, then other towns are going to either send their people to come and mine and bring it back, or they're going to try and fetch a higher price over there. So they're going to say, okay, we want to pay let's say 10 gold per stack or 50 gold per stack, and that will attract haulers who want to make a profit to go to make the dangerous journey to that town. And so in this way, I think just the fact that this world is so huge is going to mean that everything is going to be worth a lot more. And because the higher the risk, the higher the price, and also with the with the saying that time is money, the longer it takes to ship something to a location, the more it's going to be worth, so I think the economics and the meta gameplay with economics is going to be very, very exciting, and very it's going to emulate some aspects of real life economics. And so I fully expect to see that there's going to be local economies, and what does that sound? Okay, hopefully I'm not going off course. Alright, so if I get lost, then if I finish making bush pig, okay. Okay, so if I get lost, then I'll just try and finish the video somewhere, and then try and reach Tindrum in another video, or because I'm planning to do a video of covering different places, and so I will try to bring more videos over the next few weeks, and I have decided to just change my video format so that I can so that I don't have to spend so much time just making a video, because that would just make it very hard for me to release videos in a relatively short amount of time. And see, this is the best place for you to travel, in wooded places like this, where there's trees and there's small cover that will break up your silhouette. I don't know if you've seen those videos of snipers with ghillie suits. They try and blend in and break up their body's silhouette so that they won't be seen that easily. I think I should be getting there shortly. Getting to in the Return of the Marlin Rose. Can you pick these? Okay. and so that means also as well that that player escorts and caravan escorts are going to be in much higher demand. Let's say I'm carrying 5 stacks of Granum or whatever, then I'm going to want to have at least 10 players escorting me or something along those lines. I'm going to want protection, because with such a high distance, such a greater distance, then risks of getting encountering player bandits is going to be exponentially higher. And if I'm going to hire 10 players to protect me, then that means as well that I'm going to charge a higher price for my goods. So that means if you live in a town, then potentially a lot of the things that you use will be based on local resources, not so much on foreign resources. So you may see more players using Cuprum weapons in Meduli, because Sabura is there's a readily supply of Cuprum, from the Saburo, you can basically produce Cuprum bars easily in Majuli. So that's an example of how local resources will make many players who live there more or less homogeneous to one another in terms of the gear that they use. And it's all because just the fact that this world is 6 times larger, and that there is full looting and PvP everywhere. Okay, so that's the Tindrum, the Tindrum monuments. So it's good that they've made it this high. And so this also means that I think players who are scouting on horseback, and spies, and people who watch the local area on top of huge mountains or whatever, they are going to be in demand as well, because players who are transporting goods they're going to want to know who is in a particular area, or in a particular area that they want to travel through. So they might put players in different parts of the route that they're going to travel through, and so that they're going to want frequent updates on who's traveling through the area and whether there are any danger. And so I can potentially foresee that there's going to be a lot of work for new players who are just starting out and they don't know where to make money and they don't know what to do. Well, that is one way you can serve the local community that you live in, the town that you live in. Let's say the local chieftain, who is also a player, might see you and ask you, are you a new player? And you say yes, and they might say, well, look, I need someone to watch this area for me. Can you do that? And if you're just going to watch an area, you're not going to need a lot of skill. All you need is sharp eyes. There's a player. Uh-oh. See, this is what I mean. Okay, I need to use the shadows. I'm going to stay here for a bit of time. Actually, I might just lay low. Sit down. Yeah, I'm really. It's really unfortunate that we don't have sneak, a crouch stance yet. I really want a stance, like a crouch stance. For situations like this, I really want a crouch stance, and I don't know whether SV is going to implement that. Is that player still there? And by the way, I did mention that nighttime is the best time for you to travel if you're trying to avoid encounters. Young Springbok, okay. So the player that went through here just now. So hopefully. So hopefully I'm still on the right track. I believe I am. Yes, I believe I'm still on the right track. See, this world is so large, it's going to take me several times to memorize my way around. It's not like in Monster Online 1, where, once you reach a town, then you more or less, you know your way around the next time. This is not going to be the case in Monster Online 2. So, and that brings me to another good point. I think player guides that are, I don't mean the guides that you read out of game that teach you how to play the game, but player guides, like tour guides that show people the way around. Those, I think there's going to be a demand for that, because there's always going to be new players coming in, and even maybe some existing players who don't travel that much. They might not know the way around very well. So I think there's going to be a demand for player guides in the game. People who show other players how to get to another town safely and efficiently. So, this whole world, the world itself, the size of this world itself is going to open up a lot of, possibilities. So that's why I say, sometimes it's not what features the game has or what you can do in this game, but just the fact that this world is so big, and just the fact that it has full looting and PvP everywhere changes everything. This is a game changer, And so I'm so glad that SV made the world as big as it is, because this is how you get all these dynamic, but unexpected, emergent gameplay. Yeah, I'm still good. Alright, we're nearly there, but I don't know how long I've been going for, but yeah, this is not a short video, I can tell you that. Okay, maybe it's still good to just stick to the woods. Push big, okay. And so as I mentioned earlier, a new player might, be approached by a chieftain who says, I need someone to watch this area for me, because one of my caravans is going to head through that area in about half an hour's time or 15 minutes or something like that, and I need to make sure that there's no threats, there's no players who are gonna potentially rob my caravan. And so you might be assigned to watch that area, and at the end of that, the chieftain might pay you, I don't know, maybe a few gold for your time and your effort. And so in that way, you don't even need to be skilled. All you need is to be able to watch and report back to the chieftain. So, things like that. And, player bandits not player bandits, player murderers who turn red, and they might decide to lay low for a period of time, and they might hide in let's say a red town like Krenesh or Galkor, and they might just hide there for some time and just live there, and obviously they're going to be protected if they have friends there. And so if you might see player bounty hunters who have been given large sums of reward to hunt down that player. But they might come to Galkor, and they might find that they're going to be fought off and not welcome in that town, because they're protecting. I didn't even see the young pig. And so they might be fought off, and so as long as that red player is there, I think the bounty hunters are going to have a hard time, unless they send in a big army, which I don't think they will, unless they have friends in high places, friends of a big guild who has a big army, and they might say, well, we haven't, this red player has killed many of your players, your soldiers in your guild, and we need to hunt him down. So we're proposing that you send your troops to take out all the red players there, and if the guild leader agrees, then we'll have a massive guild war there. So I think that's one example of how things can play out, in a big world. You see, in Mortal Online 1, the world of Mortal Online 1, you couldn't really hide, you can hide in, let's say, Krenesh, but then anyone can just reach you within several minutes, and so it's not really, I don't really see Mortal Online 1 being a viable place to have alright, so the game's booted me out, but anyway, I think at least, you know, I've managed to get to relatively near to Tindrum, so I think I know my way around for now. I might need to practice several times before I can be proficient at it, and you know, in future I might act as a player guide for other players who need to get to Tindrum from Meduli. Sorry, from Fabenham. That's right, Fabenham. and so I think I've covered quite a bit today, and so I hope that this is not just informative, but you know, entertaining for you, you know, to get your imagination going, because I think a big part of this game is not just going to be about how the systems work, how the, you know, attributes and skills and all of that work, but it's going to be a lot of these, just the meta gameplay, the emergent meta gameplay that you're going to see play out in this game. And so that is what I'm looking forward to the most. You know, it's the way it simulates how player interactions play out when there's a huge, massive world and there's no fast travel and there's no, you know, it's PvP everywhere and full looting. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to see. And I think that's one big reason why I decided to make the first guide video just talking about the big world and you as the player, because I think this is how a lot of the gameplay is going to be centered around. It's going to be, you know, like what I've discussed in this video and like what I've mentioned. So I will be making more videos, and I will be making more guide videos. It's going to be different things, talking about different things, and so I hope to bring them to you in due time. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please do remember to give it a like, a thumbs up, and also comment if you have any. If you have a comment, you can leave it in the section below. Please do subscribe to my channel, and also please share this video. So thank you very much everyone for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. This is Fine Gaming Connoisseur. Take care and have a good day.